Kash promising today in his hearings. He's going to make sure, not just in the hearings, in the confirmation today, that it's all coming out, right? I just thought it was a funny meme for us to begin this afternoon with. Wow. Guys, take a look.
I promise you the following. There will be accountability within the FBI and outside of the FBI. And we will do it through rigorous constitutional oversight starting this weekend.
Yeah. Isn't that great? And there he is, accompanied by his country music singing girlfriend, beautiful woman by his side. I was saying to one of our producers, wow, she makes him look really good. I mean, he's good on his own, right? He means business, and we like that. But he was standing there with his girlfriend during the confirmation, or rather, the confirmation process today. He's now the new head of the FBI, and I'm telling you, they are losing it. They are absolutely losing it. Adam Schiff, he actually held a press conference as this vote happened just yesterday. I want you to see it. I want to compare and contrast Adam Schiff with one Kash Patel. He held a press conference. I mean, that in and of itself tells you a lot.
This is someone we cannot trust. This is someone who lacks the character to do this job, someone who lacks the integrity to do this job. We know that. Our Republican colleagues know that. The only qualification Kash Patel has to be FBI director is that when everyone else in the first Trump administration said, no, I won't do that, that crosses moral, ethical, and legal lines, Kash Patel said, sign me up. In the first Trump administration, as we are seeing in the second, you rise to the level of your sycophancy, and no one is a bigger or more dangerous sycophant than Kash Patel. This political hack does not deserve to be in this building. He can't do the job. He won't protect the public. He will misuse the resources of the Bureau. He will weaponize it against the president's political opponents rather than protecting the safety, the public safety of the American people.
Adam Schiff is the worst criminal in Congress in the last 250 years. And what broke that we're going to talk about right now is Adam Schiff met with a whistleblower. Adam Schiff went to the podium day after day after day saying, I know nothing about this. We're not going to discuss it. We're going to protect it. And then Adam Schiff, led the prosecution of the impeachment trial in the Senate of President Donald Trump. Talk about someone who was conflicted out of the game because he was part of the hoax that brought Charmella in, manufactured that false accusation, and then peddled it out to the world, and he continued, not surprising, he's lied about almost everything in his life, but now he lied just to set up a presidential impeachment. And that's what I was talking about, these disinformation campaigns. And then he should be investigated because he lied to the world about his interactions with Charmella, who was a whistleblower, and I can't stress it enough, that started a presidential impeachment. Now, your history is way better than mine, but I can't remember the last time a president was actually impeached. It's a significant process and escalation, and it's reserved for the time when it actually shows a crime, not when it shows the manufacture of fake information to show a fake crime. The guy that found and manufactured the evidence with Charmella was the prosecutor in the case against the target of the investigation. That is the ultimate, from a prosecutorial standpoint, conflict of interest. But he knew what he was doing, and he thought he would never get exposed. And I think thanks to, I think it was John Solomon and his fantastic reporting, we now see what I've been saying for years, that I thought he met with him for sure, and it will come out, and it now has.
Okay, that was just one of the impeachments, right? Because he was impeached twice. And don't forget how this all began. Ladies and gentlemen, go all the way back to 2016. And the FISA warrant on Carter Page, who was working in Trump Tower for the Trump campaign. And they drummed up the excuse to be able to get a judge to sign off on the FISA warrant with a bunch of nonsense, with this whole idea that somehow Donald Trump was an asset of Vladimir Putin's because they had the goods on him vis-a-vis some dirty dossier tape, right? That was all made up. And we learned that it was all made up courtesy of a group that was hired by Hillary Clinton's law firm. They hired Fusion GPS. And these guys went out and hired Christopher Steele, who went out and hired more people, including someone that they suspected, our own government suspected, of being a Russian spy. I mean, you can't make it up. So they did all this. They launched us on, frankly, a very dangerous path from the beginning. And you got to say to yourself, like, why? What was that all about? And now, fast forward that many years, and they're freaking terrified because he's coming back with a vengeance. This is a totally different kind of administration than we saw first time around. He wanted to do a lot of good stuff early on, but they were always in the way. Oh, he had 4 years to think about it. And he had legal teams that could dive in and start to figure stuff out. And so now they're coming back and they're ready and they're armed and they're doing things. And one after another after another. And part of what they're going to do is they're going to expose all of it. And when I say all of it, I mean all of it. And you know that there's a lot there. There's a lot to expose. And you can go back decades. I mean, the money alone, what we have learned about USAID, and how all these media companies were getting paid off. I mean, effectively, they were state media. At least NPR and PBS have the decency to tell us that they're state media and funded by taxpayers. These guys never told us. So the New York Times was getting some $30 million from HHS. You wonder why Fauci got glowing pieces in the New York Times every day. You had Politico in 2024 raking it in, all kinds of money. I think they got somewhere around, $8.2 million, courtesy of their $10,000 a pop subscriptions that they would give to government employees. I mean, this is what happened, okay? That's the corruption. And you look at the hundreds of millions of dollars, forgive me, billions. We're talking about $55 billion that they've already found that was going to this, that, and the other, whether it's transgender operations in Guatemala or the DEI musical in Ireland or the trans comic book in Peru. I don't get it. I mean, why? What is that all about other than paying off your buddies? But why do they choose to do it with all that? They're trying to influence the world. They're trying to create some kind of new reason for being. They're trying, if you ask me, to dismantle the system. In fact, when I really start to think about it, I suspect that this is a kind of Marxism that they were trying to employ. It started perhaps with Clinton, was continued and revved up under one Barack Obama. And then, Biden's looking the other way. They had a big field day, total party. And they wanted to somehow shame anybody who didn't fit their narrative of what they felt was the oppressed class, right? So you can just substitute, if you would, you can substitute capitalist with, I would say capitalist with white male, right? Wasn't that what they were actually really and truly doing? And so if you were part of that white male class, you were part of the problem. And that's what's just so scary. So this is all coming out. This is all going to get exposed, one thing after another.